songwriter says, I'll make room. I'll find space for what I treasure. I make time for what I want. I choose my priorities. Jesus, you're my number one. So I will make room for you. Today I want to talk to you about a subject, a simple topic. Just make room. Today I want to talk to you about making room. Just make room. Why talk about that, preacher? I'm so glad you're back. So last week I was upstairs because the girls' room needed to be cleaned. Needed some stuff done. So I go up in the girls' room and I'm trying to get to the floor so I can vacuum. But in order to vacuum, I had to make room because the floor was cluttered with a lot of stuff. Now, when I go in and see the stuff, to me, it's not valuable. To me, it's just taking up space. To me, it's useless. But to the person it belongs to, it has some sentimental value or some probative value. There's something they see in it. It makes them want to keep it. I know in the kitchen, everybody got their drawer. Most of the time it's by the stove. You open the drawer, and in that drawer, you find all manner of things that have no value. But in your mind, if I hold on to it, I might find a use for it later. So you just keep it. And what happens is after you continue to keep stuff and put stuff and try to find space for stuff, you end up becoming what some would call a hoarder. There's a show about it. I don't know if y'all ever seen it. It's called Hoarders, and it's about people that don't get rid of stuff, and they keep stuff so much so that they can't even move and live in their own space. They can't live in their own houses. And the problem with being a hoarder, the definition of hoard is to accumulate and hide or store away goods in an excessive way. Again, to accumulate, hide, or store away goods in an excessive way. The problem with being a hoarder is it's dangerous. What do you mean about dangerous? It means three things. One, it's poor sanitation. The accumulation of trash, food, stuff, anything you accumulate in an excessive way, it leads to mold, dust, allergens, and pests. Some may find roaches, some may find ants, some may find all manner of bugs in the house because you can't get to them because they find comfort and solace in the junk you've hidden or put away that you may find need for later. Number two is mental health. Hoarding leads to high rates of anxiety and depression because sometimes you may come in and say, I want to clean up. But when you see how much stuff there is to move, you just say, you know what, forget it. And the more you look at the stuff and say, forget it, the more frustrated you become because you realize you have too much stuff to do anything with. And it can lead to anxiety, which then leads to depression. But thirdly, and what I want to talk a little bit about today, is it gives you an inability to use space. It's simple. You have too much stuff in a limited amount of space. Now you can't use space. And when you can't use space, that means you have no room for anything new. It means you're kind of stuck. You're trapped in what used to be because everything you have is a remnant of the past. So you don't have, to think about this, even if you go buy something today and put it in your room, it's a remnant of the fact you went to the store or that you went to the door because DoorDash or Amazon brought it. It is not present because you had to get it and put it in your space. So you have to remember going to get it or having it brought to you. So anything that you are storing is a remnant of the past, which means if you don't have space, you cannot have a bright future. So how do you then get space? You must intentionally make room. Something we don't do a lot of because the stuff that we've been holding on to has some sense of value to us, and we are afraid of what life would look like if we get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of those shoes because they mean something to me. I don't want to get rid of this report card because it shows how smart I was in the 4th grade. But you in the 12th grade now. But if you get rid of this report card, you may think it'll somehow affect your future. You go in and you look on walls, under beds, in those deep recesses of people's living space, you'll always find something that is worthy of the trash, but in their mind is worthy of salvation. If it's worthy of salvation, is it more worthy than your own personal salvation? So I'm talking about stuff, but I'm going to bring it around to us in a minute, because you have to get a physical visual of what I'm talking about, so it helps you understand what we're doing to the Lord in a spiritual way. You ever walked in somebody's house and there was stuff everywhere, and you couldn't move, you were scared to sit down. They were talking about, you want some lunch? No, I ain't eating nothing in here. It wasn't so much it was dirty, it was just stuff everywhere. And since you couldn't find you a spot, you're gonna have to eat standing up. So instead of eating standing up, you said, nah, I'm good. Your stomach is growling, but instead of eating, you decided to go on and leave because they are not what you consider clean, because there's so much stuff. Had to move a lady one time, helped her move. There was so much stuff in there, like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. And then it's like if by chance you are hoarding stuff, we all do it. We all keep too much stuff, but you have to move. You don't realize how much you've been holding on to until it's time to move. Because once you get ready to move, you have to then make a decision. Does this go with me to the new place, or is it trash? Because the more stuff you carry, the more work you got to do. So sometimes you just say, you know what? Not only am I not going to take it to the street, I'm going to leave it in the house for the next folks to clean up. Because I don't feel like dealing with it. But it's yours. Make room. In this season of good tidings and joy, we talk about Jesus' birth. We're in December now. And the birth of Jesus was a miraculous event. So we'll talk about this in the next few weeks. So today I want to talk about one event when he was actually born. In the book of Luke chapter 2. Goes back to making room. Luke chapter 2, beginning in verse 1. You'll find words similar to these. Luke chapter 2, and I'm going to go to Matthew 8 after Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2, the Bible says, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. So Caesar, who is the Roman emperor, sends out a decree that says, I want all of the Jewish people numbered for purposes of taxation. So that meant in order to be taxed, you had to be on the registry. They had to know who you were, and you had to go back to your place of origin of your family. Verse 2, the Bible says, and this taxing was first made by Cyrenius, was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone to his own city. You were numbered where your family or where you came from. And since Joseph is in the lineage of David, he had to go back to where David was from. The Bible says in verse 4, and Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was in the house and lineage of David. And I did some research. So Judea and Galilee are not towns, they are regions. Regions of the area. And Nazareth and Bethlehem are cities in those regions. It's kind of like, see, we Memphis people, and Nutbush is not a city, Nutbush is not a town, but it's an area. You know where it is if somebody say it. If somebody say Berkeley, you know Berkeley is not going to be found on any map, but it is a region within the city. And then there's streets on those cities. So Judea and Galilee are regions, and Bethlehem and Bethlehem and Nazareth are cities in those regions. I had to get that right. Because when I was growing up, I didn't figure this out till this morning, y'all. So I'm learning things. I'm trying my best to be a student of this word. Bible says in verse 5, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. The reason that's important is because remember when Mary was first told she would be pregnant, the angel had to come to Joseph because he was going to divorce her because she was pregnant. And they were betrothed to each other, which meant they couldn't have sex yet. And if she was pregnant, it wasn't his child. And the people in the town would know that that they hadn't consummated the marriage yet, because that happened after the actual wedding. So if she was found pregnant, that meant she must have been committing adultery, which meant she would have been criticized and ostracized in the town when the pregnancy became known. And Joseph had to make some decisions. Did he want to stay with this woman who he was betrothed to, knowing that there would be ridicule that came across him because she was with child, and either he had done something he wasn't supposed to, which was against the Lord, or she had done something she was not supposed to, which was against the Lord, and they would then be outcast in their own town. But the angel of the Lord told him to stay with her. The baby that she was carrying was of the Lord, and told him what to name the child. This showed that he stayed with her up to this point. The Bible says in verse number 6, and so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. So Mary has been carrying this child up until the point of birth, and they're in the town to be taxed. And some of the mothers said, y'all know, when you get ready to have your baby, you get attitude, nose be always across your face, hips get wide, you don't want to be bothered, smells be funny, have crazy cravings, all the stuff. She having all this happening, and she's in a foreign town because she had to leave home to be with her husband to be taxed. So she's probably not in a good mood. Probably don't feel that well, and she's around all these strangers. The Bible says in verse number 7, and she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger. We all know the story, because there was no room for them in the inn. No room. She's traveled this long distance. She's with her husband. She's leaving a town where she's been talked about and criticized, going to a place of strangers. She's ready to give birth, only to find that there's no room. Imagine going to Baptist hospital or Methodist hospital after your water has broken and you're ready to give birth to your child. And when you come in, they say, well, we can't deliver right now because we don't have any rooms available. Now, the husband going to be a little upset because he's worried about his wife's safety. But mama going to be real mad because she want to get that baby up out of her. Because when it comes to that point, I've seen it a few times. When it gets to the point where she's about to have the baby, oh my God, there's some pain that takes place. It's almost unbearable. And we don't really talk about this much during Christmas season. How much pain she had to be in and having to find out there was no place that was comfortable to try to have her baby. She's already had to deal with being looked at crazy. She's already had to deal with being ostracized. And she gets to this place where it's supposed to be the most beautiful time of her life, just to be told, we don't have room. How do you think the Lord feels when he tries to come in and bless us?
Yes.
And do things for us, just to find there's no room? You ever went to the kitchen? I know y'all wash dishes. Oh no, forget that. You went to the grocery store and you happen to buy some food stamps for somebody, and you forgot what you had in your deep freezer. So you went to the store, and since you got $85 you can spend, you done spent all of it and added $15 of your money to make it $100. Then when you get home, you trying to put away the pork chops, put away the bag of shrimp, put away the ground beef you bought, and you open up the deep freezer only to find ain't no room. So what do you do now? You've already bought the stuff. You have God already has what we want. But when he tries to give it to us, he pops the top and realizes ain't no room. And the person that let you buy the food stamps didn't know you didn't have room in your deep freezer. Had nothing to do with them. So it is not up to them to know you had room before they gave you the stamps. You have to figure out after you pop that top, what is worth keeping and what should I get rid of? Because I got too much stuff and I don't have any room for anything new. And God looks at us, and I can only imagine the frustration he feels when he really wants to bless us. But he looks at us, and we have all this other stuff that's in the way.
Yes.
He can't pour it into us because we are already full. And we aren't full of the gifts of the Spirit. No. We're full of frustration. We're full of depression. We're filled with anxiety. We're filled with hatred and anger toward other people. And Jonathan McReynolds said it best. He says, my will, you can move that over. My way, you can move that over. My ego, you can move that over. My plans. He says, my schedule, my itinerary, I will make room. Then he keeps on. He says, my habits, my attitudes,
Yes.
Whatever it is that's not like you. Whatever it is, you can move it over because I will make room. See, he wants to see his face. And you can't see Jesus' face when you have stuff blocking your view. There's some stuff in the bottom of your deep freezer now. If you open the top, you couldn't see it and it couldn't see you. Because it's under so much stuff. You forgot you had it. You went to the store and bought a pack of ribs just to find when you tried to make room, you got 3 already in there under all the other stuff you packed on top. You want God to bless you. We want God to help us. He's already given us what we need to see our way out. But we don't even know we have it because we've cluttered it up with so much other stuff. We've been holding on to people we should have let go a long time ago. We've been holding on to some frustrations and bad attitudes and some anger for some people that hurt us as kids. We got to let that crap go because they've moved on in life. But God can't bless us because we still mad. We still hurt. We're still in our emotions and in our feelings. And God is trying to take us to a new level. And he's been taking things away because we wouldn't make room. Guess what? He did it for us.
Yes, Jesus.
Problem with God making room as opposed to you making room is when God makes room, it hurts. Because you wanted to keep it. You thought it had value. But God says, I can't give you better until you get rid of what you already got. Because you don't need 2. You only need 1. And the one I want to give you is better than the one you have, but you become so comfortable, so accustomed to the one you got because you know how it works. I've had a lot of vehicles, y'all, and I've been had some hoopties, but I wouldn't get rid of them because I knew how to make it run. I couldn't let nobody borrow the car because they couldn't get back to the house. Because there's some certain things you got to know about how you crank it, how you pump the brakes 3-4 times before you get to the stop sign, how to get the gas cap off, you know. When you get to the light and it starts to go dead, you got to put your foot on the brake and the gas, but just a little bit. See, but because I've been there, I don't want to get rid. I love this car. Man, my mama gave me this car. I ain't getting rid of this car, man. I don't care what nobody say. There's a brand new one I could get. They've been sending me letters in the mail telling me to come on 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months, $350 a month, which I can afford. But you say, no, because I want the car my mama gave me. The back tail light out is 3 colors on one side. It's smoke when you crank it up, and you got to put both the foot on the gas and the brake at the stop sign. But since it's my car. Since it's my attitude. I ain't getting rid of her for nobody. I can't see her. Anytime I see her, it's on sight. Anytime I see him, he can get it. Anytime, he can get it. I don't care if he's 6 or he's 7. He can get it. I'm just saying. But I had to learn that if I continue to live that way, there's no way God can bless me with new things, with a new pathway, with a new attitude, because I'm comfortable with the stuff I already have, because at least I know what to expect from it. At least I know when I wake up tomorrow and I look at this thing, what it's going to do. I know when I crank the car, it's going to backfire. Ain't no question. So pop, and if it don't backfire, something wrong with it. And I've got accustomed to that, which is so crazy, y'all. We get accustomed to the strangest things, but it's because it's comfortable. Some of y'all got on some drawers right now, got holes in them because you won't get rid of them. I know you do. You like them. They're comfortable, and it's warm outside. You done found comfort in them. Nothing wrong with that. Them yours, I don't want to say, I'm just saying, but you have to realize that it's okay to get some new ones. Yeah, they got to break them in, but they're going to serve you for a longer time. They're going to fit you better. The Bible says that when Jesus was born, she brought forth the firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes. And we've talked about this every year, that the swaddling of clothing. So when the Jewish babies were born, they wrapped them, the parents did, in garments that recognized their stature in the community. The royalty was wrapped in fine linen, and the nobles were wrapped in fine linen. But those, you wrapped in what you had. But those that were poor, wrapped them in rags and things that could find, that was readily available to signify where they're stationed in life. So the Bible says she wrapped him in swaddling clothes, meaning they were not rich clothes. He was not to be seen, even though he was the king of the Jews and was going to come and reign as the king. He came in a lowly way to let us know that no matter what our state is in life, he can understand. He came into the world poor. He came into the world wrapped in rags to let us know our righteousness is a filthy rag, but we can still bring them to him because that's how he was brought into the world. The Bible also says that they laid him in a manger. In some of y'all country, they stopped the halls before. The manger would be like a trough. You don't clean the trough, you just continue to dump stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So if you can imagine the baby Jesus being born from his mom and having to be wiped off and wrapped in these rags, and then laying him in the place where the animals eat. I don't know if you've ever been around hogs being slaughtered. It don't smell good. Yeah. Because slop is everything we ate that we didn't want. And it's not generally 1 day worth of what we don't want. It's 3-4 days of what we don't want. And if it's sitting outside festering, but to the animal that eat it, oh my God, it's like steak. To us, it's waste. And when you throw it in, and I can't even imagine. I try sometimes to make myself see these things in a spiritual side so I can see them naturally to get an understanding of what it must have been like. Because the Bible says there was no room for them in the inn. So he was born in a stable. So the way inns were made those days, there was a place for people to live, but people didn't travel alone because they had to ride their beasts, or sometimes they traveled with other animals, and there had to be a place for the animals. It would be like an animal parking lot. There was someone that watched the gate, that would let the animals in, that would tend to the animals at night. So when Jesus is being born, his mom and dad have to go in where the animals are to have the baby. They're around animals. And the baby is born and laid in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. That's why when you're going through your trial and your tribulation, don't ever think that Jesus doesn't understand. Because he came into this world in a way that was very unsafe, in a way that showed that his stature at that moment wasn't to be seen as the king, but to be seen as one that could touch the sufferings of his people. What do you mean, preacher? I'm so glad you asked. Go with me to Matthew 8 real quick, and I'm out your way. Matthew 8, verse 18 through 20. Bible says, now when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. Saw with the disciples see a lot of people, said, let's go to the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. He's seen Jesus perform miracles. He knows he has power. And he says, I want to serve you, and I'll go wherever you go. We got to be careful what we say when we don't know what we're saying. Because he was speaking a thing that should seem as a noble, but he was speaking it out of a place of ignorance. And since Jesus heard him and understood him, he wanted to give him an answer that was worthy of the statement. Because when you tell Jesus, send me, I'll go. When you tell Jesus, whatever it is, I want to do it. I want to be with you. I want to serve you with everything I have. You better be careful when you say it. Not because you shouldn't say it, but because you should be aware of what that statement means. The Bible says in verse 20, and Jesus said unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath nowhere to lay his head. Ties in to not having room. Not because there was no room for him at this point in life. He was born in a place where there was no room for him. But now he's come to the place where he has been serving his Father. And in serving his Father, he is not supposed to be in one spot. He has to serve, and he was letting this man know, you say you want to follow me? I appreciate that. But know this, following me is a place of sacrifice. He said, foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. The purpose of stating it that way, the foxhole or the bird nest is a place of security. It's a place of safety. It's a place of rest. And Jesus was telling this man that wanted to follow him that if you follow me, there will be no real sense of safety because we have to move and travel and go other places. There would not be rest because there is work to be done. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. You have to understand that when you follow Jesus, you have to give up your own stuff to follow what he needs done. And when the young man said, I will follow you wherever, he says, understand, young man, there will not be a place of rest or security. You will have to sacrifice to follow me because the world needs what we're doing. While it sounded noble, he was not speaking from a place of intelligence. Will you follow Jesus? Will you give him your all? Will you decide that you want to follow him? Because once you make the decision to follow him, then you must take the time to make room. My habits, you can move it over. My attitude, you can move it over. Whatever it is that's not like you, whatever it is, you can move it over. I want to see you first.
Yes.
Move the old things out the way. I want to seek you first. Move it all out the way. See, whatever it is that's not like you, I'll make room. I challenge you today to make that your statement moving forward in life. That whatever it is that's not like you, I will make room. Whatever it is that's not like you, I will make room. I find space for what I treasure. We have to make a decision that we want to make room for the Lord. Because we've been living lives that are beneath our privilege for so long. Because living for Jesus is contrary to the flesh. And since it's contrary to the flesh doesn't want it to happen. And since the flesh doesn't want it to happen, it will hinder us from doing what God wants us to do. Your flesh will intentionally block you and make you hold on to stuff because in your mind, it makes sense to keep it. Because if I get rid of it, what happens next? I don't like uncertainty. And since I don't like uncertainty, I will deal with stuff I shouldn't be dealing with. Since I don't like uncertainty, I will stay in places I shouldn't stay because I want to wake up in the morning and at least be sure of one thing. I know what to expect. But see, that's not how you live when you serve Jesus. You can't know what to expect because he is the one that holds the key to your future. And if you want to live a life that's pleasing in his sight, you must be willing to give up stuff that is not like him. You must intentionally give up stuff that gets in his way. And sometimes you think you are doing the right thing and the thing that is noble, but you have to ask Lord, is this something I need to keep? Is this something that's in the way? Is this one of those things that's blocking me from hearing what to do next? Is this one of those things that's hindering me from moving to the next level because I think I'm doing it right? I want to do it right. I'm walking around on these broken pieces, but you have to, sometimes God says throw it away. Let me give you something new. But we don't want the new because we don't know what to expect. We don't know what to expect from the new. And you know what's so funny? Some of y'all don't want to get a new cell phone because you don't want to have to program it. You don't want to get a new television set because you don't want to go through the setup. I'm guilty. I didn't want to get a new cell phone because I didn't want to have to go through putting in all the contacts. I didn't want to have to go through putting all the apps back on it. Remembering my passwords. So even though the phone got a crack in the center of it, even though when I answer, I have to put the ear up really hard up to my ear and talk loud. It don't matter because at least it worked. But I could give me a new one because I got a plan that lets me upgrade for free. But I refuse to upgrade simply because of the inconvenience of the unknown.
Yes.
I don't want to go from Apple to Samsung because they don't work the same. But it's new. And there's more value, there's more options, there's more things I can do with the new one if I let God give it to me. But see, I don't want to go through the simple steps of learning how to live a different way because I got so comfortable living this way. Folks expect me to move a certain way. Folks expect me to operate a certain way. If I change, what happens to those people?
Yes.
Will they stay? Will they leave? Because I'm different. I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to find out whether they'll stay or not. I don't want to see what happened if I change. So I'm going to stay the way I am. I'm going to do what I do every day. So folks know what to expect of me, and I can have an idea of what to expect back. But see, God doesn't want you to live that way, because that means you lack faith. Yes. If you're waking up every day knowing what's supposed to happen, what's the purpose of having faith? Why do you need faith if you're going to know what's happening tomorrow? You need faith when you're going to let God take you to unknown territory, to conquer and get new lands, to build new edifices for His glory, to prepare space for Him in your heart, because there's so much stuff that you've dealt with that has caused you pain that you could use, if you chose to, by throwing it in the fire as fuel and heat for your future. But instead of allowing it to be fuel, you're using it as a way to hold you and keep you stuck. But you know what? It burns. It burns. No, go to the next one. It burns. It will burn if you put it in the fire. But since you're holding on to it, it's just holding you down. It's weighing you down. But God wants to lift you up. Y'all know I lost 30 pounds. And I went walking the other day. Came home and told my wife, I said, I feel lighter. Because I got rid of some weight. Now, it wasn't because I wanted to lose. I didn't get on no diet plan. I wasn't being physically fit. The stress and the depression was letting me lose. But I came back home and said, oh my God, I feel lighter. I can run faster. I can go further. And if you understand that, you need to let God let some weight off you. And if you can't let God get it off you, some stuff you can put away yourself. You can take off the weight that you've allowed to beset you and hold you stuck. But sometimes God got to come in and kick the door down. Sometimes God got to come in and move stuff out the way. Shake every situation up. Remove the foundation. Because once He takes it away and you realize He did it for your good, you can then be ready to receive. Don't worry about the pain. Don't worry about the frustration. Don't be afraid. Let God have His way. Because one thing I know and two things for certain. He loves you and everything in Him and everything in you. And there is nothing you can do to make Him stop. God loved you yesterday. He loves you now. And He's going to love you tomorrow. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop God from loving you. You can't make God leave you. You can only leave Him. And if you allow Him to take away that stuff that's blocking, if you put away some stuff that's in His way, there's some things you can get that'll give you a brighter tomorrow. There's some ways you can sleep and have peace at night if you give Him what's holding you down and remove it and throw it away. I challenge you today to make room. I challenge you today to make room. As we go into this Christmas season, as we go into Christmas and we get ready to celebrate the birth of Christ, and you're shopping, as you buy your gifts, remember this. You got to have somewhere to put the stuff you buy. So if you're going to make room for the gifts, make room for Jesus. When we get ready to put the Christmas tree up, there's always some stuff you got to move out of the way to put the tree up, because it ain't up all year. If you find room to put the tree up, find room to give Jesus space. Give Him some areas that you've been blocked off. Go into the room where you threw everything and open up and go just clean it out. Go sift through some stuff. Because not only in the sifting through the old things can you figure out what you don't need, you can also appreciate what God has done for you. Yes. You can appreciate how far He's brought you. I know I got off Facebook with some of y'all on Facebook, and Facebook showed you these things called memories. Sometimes they break your heart. But sometimes they make you feel like you're king of the hill. Because you can see where you were then and where God has brought you to now. And going through and sifting through those things will allow you to realize that God has never left you. Even when you thought He was gone, He was right there. So I challenge you in this season to make room. Dig deep. Figure out what's valuable and what you don't need. Hold on to only those things which are essential. But more importantly, not is it essential for my flesh. Is it essential for my spiritual growth with Christ? Because only what we do for Christ will last. Let us make room.